No rush. So today, before we get into the article, I'd like for you to lay one hand on top of your head and one hand across your forehead, palm facing your forehead. And then hold this top of your head and forehead and take that Trinity breath from the last few weeks that I've introduced you to, which is 3 deep, slow breaths, breathing all the way down to your root or lower belly on each breath, and then letting those breaths out in long, slow exhales. So this will help ground you and align you in the present moment so that you can fully receive the shift that I'm offering you below in this article. So take your time with that. Feel free to pause and come back. And once you feel spacious and ready, come on back. Hello again. So the image in this article says no rush, and it's over a teacup that's filled with tiny white flowers. And the teacup says, written on the teacup says, take your time. So what I want to know is, how do you react when you believe there's not enough time? What happens when you rush yourself to the finish line, which you will then only extend out to a new finish line? Notice. How do you react? Like, really look at that. What happens to you? So perhaps it's stress, a feeling of stress, a feeling of overwhelm. Perhaps you notice that you snap at people and that you're impatient with people when you're rushing yourself. And you're impatient with your loved ones. And of course you are, because you're being impatient with yourself. So how could you do otherwise? If you don't think you deserve patience, then you're probably going to struggle to extend patience, at least to the people closest to you, because we do tend to perform and be more patient and try to be perfect with others that we want to make an impression on. But the people closest to us usually take the brunt of that impatience that we're having with ourselves. Then we project it onto our partners and our children and whoever's near. And whoever we trust is going to love us even when we're not being very kind. So, do you believe? So once you've taken a look at that, like, how are the specific ways what's the effect of that on you? Notice the effect of rushing yourself on you and on others. And then next, I want to know, do you believe that it's possible to accomplish all that you wish to accomplish in your life with peace in your heart and with ease? Do you believe that difficult things can be easier? There are no right or wrong answers here. Just answer the question for yourself. Do you believe that? Do you even want them to be easier? Now, most of you would probably say, of course I do. Don't be ridiculous. But what I want to get at here is, what would it mean about you if things felt really easy? And really look at that. If things were really easy, what would that mean about you? And you can pause here and do some journaling on that and come back, because it will reveal some stuff if you haven't. Or you can just answer it to yourself right now. Like, what would that mean about you if things were really easy for you? So when I really, really looked at that, I found that there were a bunch of meanings I had assigned unconsciously, but I found that the meaning that I had internalized and assigned to that the most was that it would mean that I don't care and that I'm not a good person. And I really, really value myself for being a kind and caring good person. It's been a huge part of my identity, and I don't particularly care for that identity to go away. Because I do care. I do want to care, and I do care about being a good person. So I was absolutely not willing to part with that as long as I had this meaning assigned. I did not want to be one of those out-of-touch a-holes who thinks or feels or experiences life as being easy or easier, because I was taught to despise those a-holes. So, what did I do? I asked myself what I needed from myself in order to let things be and feel more easy. So I tried to work with myself instead of trying to bowl over that and say, I don't need to do this or that. Instead of trying to bowl over that concern of my mind's, I tried to work with it instead. So I asked myself, what do I need from myself in order to let things feel more easy? And one of the things my mind said was, I need you not to be an a-hole. And I was like, okay, I could do that. I can definitely do that because I care about that too. And I always want to be mindful that not everyone is in the same place or having the same experience I am, obviously, while still letting myself have my own experience too and have a different experience. And then my mind said, well, what about being out of touch with suffering is what my mind meant. And I said, I love you, mind, but the hard facts are I am going to be out of touch with other people's experiences and suffering. There is no way I can be in touch with their experiences exactly unless I'm living their exact life. But what I can do is notice and be aware of and do whatever I can to make things better in the world in whatever ways that feel peaceful and right to me from where I am, or that just feel right to me from where I am. And it would not only be foolish of me, but arrogant of me to try to put myself into suffering to help the suffering. Because I had a lot of people suffering with me when I was suffering a lot. And it was the ones who offered me hope that things could be different that changed my life for the better. So, mind, I was talking to my mind here, can we agree that if I start with peace and I start with patience in me, I will create more peace and ease from there in the world? And my mind said, okay, fine, I'll let you try it. And we have had some phenomenal results from that agreement, where I get to live the life experience that I am wanting to have and make changes I'm wanting to make and still have the identity that's important to me of not being an a-hole and being somebody who cares and is a good person. While also, of course, working with all of those definitions of good person, quote unquote. But that's a whole other article. So, what do you need from yourself to give yourself time and ease? What is your mind making it mean about you that things are difficult? When things are difficult, does it mean that you care? That you're a better person? That you're one of the good ones because you're in it with the people? Find out what that meaning is. Don't make it wrong. Don't make it right. Just find out what the meaning is and see if you can find some evidence to the opposite, not so that you can prove it wrong, but just so that you can bring some neutrality and some balance to the viewpoint. What I found is that when I'm not being impatient with myself, I'm more patient with others too. When I'm peaceful toward myself, I afford others more peace and grace as well. When I am not overwhelmed, I think more clearly and I do more powerful work, and I'm available to do more things that might be of help. When I'm not rushing myself, I'm not rushing others. And all of these things actually help me be more of what my mind wanted me to be, not an a-hole. So have a look for yourself. See what you find. Have fun with it. Work with yourself. Work with your frightened mind. It's not the enemy. I used to think it was, but it's not. You just need to understand it more and get on and help it understand you more, like your soul and how you see things, and help it get on board with you, because your mind is conditioned by the rules of society and the way that things have been done, whether they're right, wrong, good, or bad, whether they create suffering or not. It's just trying to do the things that it thinks will keep you safe and good and accepted. And if you work with it instead of trying to dismiss it or work against it or go around it or just go with it blindly, then you can create new results when it's back on your team. So have fun with that, and I'll see you next week. Bye.